Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of This Week in Philadelphia Sports, where, as you might have guessed it, we go over everything that's happened this week in Philadelphia sports. Again. If you're new to this channel and you do enjoy this sort of content, it would be amazing if you could hit that subscribe button. And since it is the festive period and it is the time for giving, if this video hits 500 likes, we will give away a PSN t-shirt to a random commenter. So all you've got to do to enter, make sure you subscribe, leave a like to make that number of blue thumbs go all the way up to 500, and then leave your comment down below on today's topic. But before we get to said topics, I did just want to say a little announcement. Obviously the Flyers had some devastating news this week as young forward Oscar Lindblom was diagnosed with a rare form of cancer known as Ewing sarcoma, and obviously it's tragic news and we wish him all the very best in his fight against it. And if you want to support that, one of our writers, Ricky Amandeo, has actually custom made and ordered around 600 #OscarStrong wristbands at $2.50. There's a link in the description below, and every single penny from those profits will go to the Ewing Sarcoma Foundation, a charity that helps fight that rare form of cancer that has affected Oscar and his family. So we're Oscar Strong. I'm sure the whole world is fighting with him. It was a real pleasure to meet him in Prague, and I really hope he can pull through this and come back to fulfill a very promising young hockey career. We're going to start the show though with the Philadelphia Eagles, who are, what did we say last week? Playoffs on a prayer. Alright, the song is alive. The Eagles are alive, and unlike my love life, it's hotter than ever. They beat the Washington Redskins. They're now well and truly alive in the playoff race. All they've got to do to make the playoffs is beat the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants. It's that simple, and they're in, but they have to win the next two games. They've warmed up winter. They're hotter than ever. We said last week, playoffs on a prayer, and the Eagles are alive. There is a chance they can make some noise this postseason because of the recent changes and adversity this team has faced, and I think last week proved that. Obviously, there's a lot to dissect from the game. You've got Greg Ward Jr., who in the fourth quarter exploded for 40 yards and a touchdown, carrying the offense on his shoulders and lifting the Eagles above their divisional rival. What a performance for the former University of Houston quarterback. If you've been around this channel a while, from his film room breaking down his play in the Alliance of American Football all the way through the 3 preseasons he's had trying to make this team, perseverance is key, and to see Greg Ward come on board and catch his first ever NFL touchdown in such miraculous circumstances, where he has literally kept the Eagles' playoff hopes alive with that catch, it couldn't happen to a more deserving receiver, someone that has worked tirelessly at his craft, at transitioning from quarterback. It's amazing to see, and I think I speak for everyone when I say we are all elated for Greg Ward and his family after what must have been an amazing day for them all. But it wasn't all that positive, was it? I mean, the defense now for 3 weeks in a row has allowed a single receiver to amass over 130 yards. We've had Devontae Parker, Darius Slayton, and Terry McLaurin, who for a second time this season has made the Eagles look a little bit silly. In a weird turn of events, the pressure on Mike Grover's somewhat... Alright, it hasn't, alright, it's still there. But Jim Schwartz has gone from really diminishing that over a 2-week stretch against the Seahawks and the Patriots to going back to square one. The pass rush against the quarterback had 26 sacks on 186 dropbacks. That's not great, is it? And the Eagles got 0 quarterback hits. No, we're not even talking sacks. Forget that for a minute. Not a single quarterback hit. I have had more success on Tinder this week than the Eagles had success in sacking Dwayne Haskins, and that is saying something. And if the Redskins can game plan against the Eagles, work on 3-step drops, get the ball out quickly, then God forbid what we're going to see from the Dallas Cowboys. It is going to likely be a shootout. Question is, can Wentz on a short-handed offense overcome Dak Prescott, Amari Cooper, Zeke Elliott, and everyone else, Michael Gallup, all of them lot, really? It's gonna be a momentous occasion, and while talking about Carson Wentz, there's been some criticism on him as well. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Wentz has played some of the best football of his career over the last 2 weeks. He's been absolutely remarkable. That throw to Miles Sanders, it got me a bit flustered, I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, it got to the point where I'm pretty sure the majority of married men in Philadelphia were watching that clip at 1 in the morning, and when their wife came in the bedroom, they were lying and saying it was something that they shouldn't have been watching. Then there's the fumbling thing, which is something that has been prevalent in Wentz's game for ever. And I said this earlier in the season, I'll say it again now, there is something very, very coachable within that era. This isn't something where it's like, oh, that's just inherent in his game, that's classic Carson. It's not at all. It's something that can be coached out, and the fact that as he's being hit and his knee is on the ground, he is aimlessly flinging that ball out to avoid a sack. There is no need to put the team in a position of risk, and they're very, very lucky they have been playing borderline incompetent defenses for 2 weeks in a row, because the Giants had a chance chance to snatch the entire game last week in the fourth quarter, and the Redskins almost ended up with a very short field thanks to another Wentz cough-up. The Eagles then end up facing Jadeveon Clowney or Nick Bosa in the playoffs. It might not bode so well. And there are two sides to this argument. You've got some people saying, yeah, well, Carson didn't turn it over, man, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't, so what? He coughed it up. It didn't hurt the team. And you've got the other half who are a bit like me and said, well, the error's an error. And the way I'll position it is this. If you play 100 games of blackjack and you bet $100 each time and you win 100, you're going to be revered as a very rich man. Someone that took all the right risks and they paid off marvelously. And you're now making it rain. If you lose 100 hands, you have to go home to a very angry family and explain why they'll be eating beans for Christmas. The safest thing to do is just not take the risk, isn't it? It's just to not play the hand, sit back, take the sack and move on with it. There is no need to put your team in that position of risk. It's something that Wentz continues to do, and that is the only criticism that I have, which is saying something, because a lot of other quarterbacks have a very long list of things that are wrong or that's plaguing their game. Not with Wentz. He's been playing some of the best football of his career, and when you bear in mind that he's doing that without any wide receiving help, I mean, Arcega-Whiteside has had 222 snaps in 3 weeks, 7 targets, and that's it. I mean, he had 2 targets last week, got a penalty and a drop. Great. Without Greg Ward, tight ends, and an explosive Miles Sanders, I don't know where this Eagles offense would be. Like, Carson Wentz has dragged this group back from the brink 2 weeks in a row, and I now think that with that motivation they can go into Dallas and make some noise, because there's finally a reason to believe now. And I don't just mean that people have been doubting Carson Wentz all this time, but if there was any remote chance of a Nick Foles hangover or the anonymous sources or all this inside noise about his leadership, the fact that Wentz has stepped up, put this team on his back and said, let's go and win this game 2 weeks in a row, led 2 game-winning drives, they're going to believe in him, they're going to feed off that confidence, they're going to feed off the production that they're seeing, and I think there is every chance we see an offensive resurgence in Dallas. As for the defense, the less said about it, the better, really. If we could just avoid talking about that, it stressed me out a lot less. Quick mention though to Miles Sanders, who has officially broken the rookie rushing record set by LaShawn McCoy back during the year he was drafted by the Eagles. Someone he looked up to as a kid. I meant not McCoy looked up to Sanders. He would have been looking down the other way round. It's amazing. It's an amazing feat, and I don't think Sanders is getting the credit he deserves this season. There's a long way to go in his development, but he has taken some massive strides, if you pardon the pun, in becoming the future bell cow back for the Eagles. Handling 19 carries is no easy task. He did it with ease. So can the Eagles beat the Cowboys? The answer is, I don't bloody know, but I'm optimistic. I think they're going to give them a very good run for their money, and it could be one of the spectacles of the season. Bizarrely, I'm feeling pretty optimistic right now, so if it does go wrong, blame on to the Philadelphia Flyers, guys. And again, if you do want to support the Ewing Sarcoma charity, there is a link down in the description below. I'll leave a link to the charity and for the wristband, so if you do want to donate any money to the charity directly, you can go through that one as well. But the Flyers entered a 3-game, 5-day road trip sizzling hot. I mean, they were piping hot. They've won 6 of their last 7, had 16 points in 19 games. Everything was looking brilliant in the Metro Division, and then they go and lay a stinker, didn't they? An absolute stinky winky. They lost all 3 games with an average differential of 3. They faced the 28th ranked Minnesota defense, and they put up 18 shots in 3 periods, which again isn't good. But making life worse is the amount of injuries the team is dealing with. Obviously Lindblom is going to be out for probably the rest of the season. Konechny out indefinitely with a concussion. You've got Tyler Pitlick, Scott Lawton, Michael Raffle, Nolan Patrick, all of them missing significant time. They're losing a lot of depth in forwards right now, and hopefully there's going to be some action at the trade deadline. I know they've recalled a couple of the guys from down on the Phantom, NAK and Carson Tworinsky, but are we really going to see them step up to the plate? Only time will tell. The Flyers have still got a lot of reasons to be optimistic, but they could use a little bit of help right now. Now, the Sixers, don't get me wrong, they're doing alright. They're undefeated at home. They are defeated away, alright? For some reason, they play very good at home. Last undefeated team in the NBA. You stick them on the road, and they perform about as well as a boys' own cover band. It's not really that good. Although they're 3rd in the Eastern Conference, and there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic, and we can talk about Mike Scott starting, we can talk about Joel Embiid rebounding and finding that hunger. I think it's more fun to talk about whatever the hell is going on in Carlo Quinn's mind right now. So basically, for those of you who are unaware, Carlo Quinn has posted a series of Instagram stories which on surface level look like he's hammered a keyboard and hit enter. Those more savvy among us have realised this is a cryptic message, because He loves the attention. He's been known for doing this before. While there are some very logical explanations and potential outcomes of this transcription, I've decided to give some of my own. So here's the first one. The image you can see on the screen, I think it stands for, I don't know what I asked, wonderful wizard. But basically, baby, you are so magical, and I presume gonna go marry Tim and get sexy sex. See, he's upset, alright? Carlo Quinn is upset. He's asked the wonderful wizard for this girl back. She's gonna marry Tim, alright? She's gonna marry Tim and get the... yeah. Sadly, I could go on. Oranges you will burn. I truly miss the ice cream we would try, but really female means no oranges. I don't know why I do this to myself. The second one, I can bury my oranges Tuesday or Thursday. Bring your apples back. Really sad you want baubles in Christmas. Not trees, but trees. Christmas, you try listening. You are really old. I can really remember your furry hair of your spine. As we can see, Carlo Quinn is clearly very distressed. What I would love you guys to do is leave your comments down below. What do you think Carlo Quinn is saying in his crypto Instagram post? Because I have no idea, for lack of a better term. The Phillies introduced Zach Wheeler and D.D. Gregorius? DD. They introduced DD. He posts a lot of emojis on social media. He's also good at baseball, and that's something to be proud of. We will have one more episode of This Week in Philadelphia Sports before Christmas. So, until then, I hope the Eagles win. Thank you so much for tuning in. It means a lot to me that you've taken time out of your day to watch this train wreck, because that's what it is. We'll be bringing you plenty of festive Eagles content coming over the next 7 days. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Liam Jenkins PSN. We'll see you soon.